Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussiestarcraft, where we're bringing you some more awesome Heart of the Swarm action. This time it's going to be a game from the round of 8 at MLG's Game On that took place very recently. Bottom central location it is going to be Windy, better known as Major, our Mexican Terran player. In the top central location as our Red Protoss it's going to be Root Minigun. So this is game 3 in a best of 3 series, both these players having secured one victory apiece, and whoever takes this game will in fact progress on in this tournament. The other one will fall down. So we have a Protoss vs Terran on our hands yet again. As you can see, the quite cool little logos that have been added hovering outside the next eye. We can see these teams making use of them already, and if we check out Majors, funnily enough it's actually the Pokemon Grimer, so very neat little logo for Major there, and curious to see how these players decide to play it out. So your guess is as good as mine. We've seen some very diverse shenanigans out of them thus far in this series. Looks like Major's actually going to be going for a rather gasless opening here. I've seen a lot of Terran players favouring, oh no, there it goes, so going to be dropping that refinery just a little bit later than we usually see it, and looks like a fairly similar opening to what we've seen out of Major thus far in the tournament. If we check out Minigun, looks like he's going to be going for a gateway opening. So I was curious if you saw the In Control games earlier. Actually saw In Control doing quite a lot of forge fast expanding, something we don't see out of most of our Protoss players. But I was quite interested to see how it measured up against a player of Scarlet's caliber. So not something that we see in the current metagame, but certainly In Control showing us that it certainly still has its uses. So we have a first Reaper on the way from Major now, going to be on the field shortly, and going to be using that to move out and do a bit of scouting, ensure there's no proxy pylons hiding out anywhere. And as you can see, we have this this probe hiding out over here, and the Reaper rallied straight over to that location. So we'll see if it is in fact Minigun's intention to build a pylon. I think it's just a little bit early for a proxy pylon. Throwing them down too early can mess with your build timings. But Minigun going for what has come to be known and loved as a fairly standard Protoss opening. Going to be throwing down that Zealot first. I imagine we'll see Warp Gate and this Mothership Core on the way very shortly. So Mothership Core coming out now, and 50 gas actually going to be for a Stalker before the Warp Gate research. So this could be quite a quick aggressive play from Minigun. He's going to be moving out with the Zealot, the Stalker and the Mothership Core. Stalker going to be chrono boosted out, and Warp Gate finally being started behind that. So we have a bunker coming down from Major at the front of his base, but in the way of defensive units there's actually not a lot on the field. There's a single Reaper, and actually Major's decided to build a reactor. This could leave him quite exposed. We'll see what Minigun does with this Reaper. The Reaper forced now to defend, and this is a crucial issue, as two Marines only just now making their way. And can they get to the bunker in time? I think they may well win this race. The Reaper going to be delaying the Zealot from making his way across the field. Stalker now moving out. There are going to be a few Marines in this bunker ready to defend, but looks like Minigun's going to be putting on the pressure right away in this game. Have Warp Gate almost finished now, another Stalker commenced, and we have the Nexus going down at the expansion. So looks like Minigun looking to put some pressure on. Luckily for Major, is well defended in time. We have 2 Marines already in the bunker, and 2 more on the way. But looks like Minigun's actually going to throw down his Twilight Council, so I imagine we'll be seeing a little bit of Blink Stalker play. I love that choice out of Major, if indeed he does decide to go down that route. For example, with the Mothership Core, you could blink straight into the main base of the Terran. Things like this pesky bunker, not going to be an issue. And a large group of Stalkers could do significant damage, but even a smaller group of Stalkers, things like a 4 Stalker hit squad, could do significant economic damage here. So we'll see just what choices Minigun decides to make in this game. Looks like he is planning to be the aggressor here, at least for the short-term future. Second Stalker going to be keeping track of things at the top of this cliff, ensuring that the Reaper's not able to do a whole lot. Now, I wonder if we swap to Windy's view, we can see that scan revealing everything except for the Twilight Council, and that is a crucial piece of scouting there. The scan just falling short. Literally the line was touching the Twilight Council. So this blink take going to be a little bit of a surprise for Major, and that could be a significant issue. There's a few Marines up in this main base, but Marines not the best for dealing with Stalkers. We'll see just how many gateways Minigun throws down. There's going to be 3 gateways coming up, so it's going to be 4 Stalker blink play out of Minigun. I love this choice, a very dynamic option, very aggressive out of Minigun. You can see the forward pylon now being established, and these Stalkers actually going to harass the main bunker just to put a little bit of pressure on Major. He's actually going to throw down a second bunker, and this is a nice try from Major, but a great read from Minigun to force this extra expenditure of minerals here. It's going to be place it. Actually looks like Major's actually had a nice read of his own. Going to throw down a few additional bunkers in his main base, preparing for the blink play even though he didn't see the Twilight Council. Great decision from Major, and I think that's actually going to save his life here. The blink play almost caught him by complete surprise. A few more Stalkers warping now. We actually have 5 on the field, 6 coming up now, and those warp gates should be just finishing up. This nice saturation at the second base, though, is going to need these Vespene geysers to be able to continue to produce these Stalkers. A Widow Mine here going to be a very valuable defensive tool. Can one-shot a Stalker or almost kill the Mothership core in a single shot. Very valuable tool for defending. And as we can see, Major already pulling his SCVs to try and keep these bunkers intact. One of those SCVs is going to go down, so nice micro out of Minigun. Going to pick up an SCV for no hull damage on the Stalkers, so great control there. And Major looking to hold this off as best he can. Widow Mines coming out one at a time here, and these very valuable defensively. Major should perhaps position the second one just up just a little bit here, ensure there's no blink onto the ledge. But I imagine that Major has enough forces here to hold off this Stalker play for the immediate future. We do have Minigun throwing down his Templar Archives with his Storm, so Storm going to be the backup plan when this Terran force eventually chooses to move out. Going to be salvaging a bunker there. Obviously Major's starting to think he has sufficient forces to hold off Minigun, at least for the time being. We have a Marine trying to scout out, but that Marine going to get one shot by the Stalker. What an unlucky Marine, somehow managed to evaporate when that Stalker hit him. He just literally crumpled and disappeared. So nice trick the Stalker had. A little bit of a magician. You see his Stalker starting to fall out, and that's a great choice from Minigun in the face of what is starting to be quite a terrifying little force of Marines and Marauders here. Check out the unit counter stations, 26 Marines and 5 Marauders. That's a substantial force. The High Templar will provide a bit of an equalising factor for Minigun, but it'll be very much determined on how effective these Storms are. One medevac on the field, second one just finishing up there. And all these Marines and Marauders just streaming straight across the map. So we have 2-base play versus 2-base play here on Heavy Rain between Minigun and Major, and we'll see if Major is able to make this aggression work here. It looks like Minigun bought a little bit of time by collapsing these rocks, but Windy will be through those in just a moment. We'll see if Minigun can position himself at a good enough angle to hold this off. There's 2 medevacs here, so potential for a drop in the main base is quite high. Widow Mine's going to be preventing a 3rd base going down, and going to be potentially sniping units here, so got to be super careful. The Protoss force, however, nice time warp there is going to allow 2 perfect storms, and the front half of that army just disintegrates. Great force fields out of Minigun's just going to allow the rest of the army to take a massive beating. And that was just a beautiful engagement, ladies and gentlemen. If you want textbook for how to engage Protoss versus Terran, I would suggest you watch that sequence one more time. And we will take a little bit of a look at that later on. It's just a gorgeous drop from the Mothership core from the high ground, allowing it to throw down that time warp, and then 2 gorgeous storms on top of it. But not to stop there, the force field's positioned to pin the remainder of the army, and another storm on top of it was just a great engagement from Minigun. So classic positioning there. An observer on the way to try and deal with these Widow Mines, but Minigun has to be a little bit careful. The Widow Mine's almost off cooldown. We have a 3rd and 4th here, so we have this Protoss army just playing sudden death with these Widow Mines. Luckily grabbing it just before it comes off cooldown. Another 2 here, got to be careful of these. Storm there is going to kill the Widow Mine, but unfortunately is going to detonate first and kill one of those Zealots. And even with the pressure here, Minigun relentlessly throwing down his third base. So love the choice from Minigun. Very bold, very ballsy move, but the Terran army is in the medevacs. The Doom drop here. Unfortunately, the Stalker's unable to get the right angle, but fortunately this group up in the main base, a few more Stalkers and a High Templar are able to snipe and feed back some of those medevacs. But a second drop from Major here is showing the multi-prong aggression's just off the chart. Going to pick up after doing some damage to the worker line. We see 6 workers killed thus far, and we have these Marauders swinging back in from the right hand side. So Major doing a great job of keeping this aggression going from both sides. That medevac making it out by the narrowest of margin. A single hit point. This poor medevac part, you can see her eyes wide in surprise there in the little portrait in the bottom right hand corner. But nice storms and consistent feedbacks from Minigun is just keeping these medevacs at maximum range. So Minigun just doing a great job with the feedbacks, great High Templar usage, and we saw a lot of that in Minigun's earlier games. It was particularly one of the things I took note of in those games was just how well he used the High Templar and Storm. You can see Minigun not making use of any Colossus. A lot of Protoss become very reliant on the Colossus, particularly against Terran players, but we see Minigun certainly not making those mistakes. Obviously his Storm placement is excellent. We do have Colossus on the way, though that's more likely to exploit the fact that there is a massive medevac count. We have 160 supply already on the field for our Terran. So in order for our Terran player to make any Vikings, he is starting to limit his potential options. He can't grab the Ghost that he needs along with those Vikings. So we'll see how this goes. A big stim forward for Major. He's going to try and snipe this natural expansion. And it's only going to be a matter of seconds and this may actually go down. Major instead choosing to pull back so he doesn't have that force get sandwiched, but with a second very active force on this right hand side, Major is just putting so much pressure. It loads up for another potential drop. He could nick in behind this natural expansion. He is actually going to catch this Protoss army out of position. There's no High Templars here to feed back the medevacs, and there's going to be a big drop right behind Minigun's expansion. A warp in a Zealot's going to be buying some time here. Can this army get back in time? We have the second force loaded up, moving towards the main base. Windy's just double-pronged drops are going crazy this game. The main drop's actually going to move in towards the main base. The second drop deciding to pull out rather than get caught by that High Templar there. We have most of the Terran army actually caught in medevacs at the moment. A third group of reinforcements trying to move forward, but nice feedbacks is going to negate the effect of the medevacs. The drop does come in, but Minigun just able to clear it up with some beautiful storms there, and that main drop completely negated. We have the second drop trying to move in from the right, and the main force of Terran continuing to be forced back as they try to make it up the ramp towards this third base. So we've just got some of the tidiest Protoss defense, but Major absolutely unrelenting with his Terran assault. We've got 3 groups of units simultaneously being controlled, just excellent control from Major. Widowmine's going to do a bit more damage there, taking out the Stalkers, a nice little bit of bonus damage. The Observer will want to make its way over those Widowmines, but it looks like Minigun just a little bit busy trying to keep track of all of these drops that are moving in and out. The Widowmines actually may get a second kill if Minigun's not careful. Where's that Observer? Observer not moving out. These Widowmines may actually get another set of kills. Looks like Minigun too preoccupied to clear them out. Will he make the mistake of going back over them yet again? Another Widowmine here going to be giving Major some great map vision. We have the Widowmine going to be claiming another Stalker kill, so starting to be very cost effective here with these Widowmines. And this Colossus may actually trigger this one if it's not careful, so Colossus avoiding that by a narrowest of margin. This drop just streaking for home. Medevac down to 13 health. Got to be so careful the Stalkers don't blink under it and snipe. It is completely full of units, so all 6 of those Terran units completely relying on that Medevac pilot to keep them out of strife. Going to be cancelling that command center. A big group of reinforcements moving out, but these reinforcements have already stimmed once, so they're going to be needing those medevacs to keep them in tip-top fighting shape. Looks like the Terran actually moving back over these Widowmines, using them to keep the retreating units safe, and going to be moving out to threaten this 4th base. So Protoss on 4 bases, very scary. This medevac deciding to unload rather than engage this High Templar. High Templar, plenty of energy for Storm or feedback. We'll see what the choice is going to be. Minigun just trying to buy some time for his main army to move into position. these medevacs could potentially be caught by these blink stalkers. We'll see how Minigun decides to engage this here. This Terran force could very easily be pinned between these zealots and this main force of Minigun. We'll see how he decides to engage. We have a zealot actually being a hero down there. 4 workers killed. He's going to be mopped up by the reinforcements. That marauder going to be doing the honours. And we have the Viking count continuing to grow, so luckily for Minigun, only relying on these 2 Colossi, not producing too many. 4 Vikings, probably about the right count. 6 or 7 would allow him to kill them just a little bit quicker, but got to balance out the amount of supply you invest in those units that can only kill a selected range of things. And Vikings, once they kill the Colossi, are forced to land, so got to be super careful there. These Vikings going to be soldiering towards, but a nice EMP actually reducing all the shields of this Protoss force. Nice storms going down there, but doing a lot of damage to the Zealot. Major splits here are fantastic. There's Colossus being cleaned up, things looking very bad as the tide turns against Minigun and the Terran forces barrel in. These Marauders moving up the flank to try and cut off these Protoss units as they withdraw. The balance of the Terran army trying to force its way forward. Big storms though going to turn the tide of this battle back in Minigun's favour, and Major GG's out of the game. So what a phenomenal final engagement there. Seesawing back and forward. Looked like Minigun was on the ropes, but those final hero High Templar coming in and laying down the storm managed to secure the victory for Minigun. So I'm just I'm not speechless at Minigun's victory. I'm just speechless at the seesaw nature of this game. That was fantastic on both our players' parts. Super excited for Minigun to see a Protoss player moving on, but two, it's just been such consistently good storming from Minigun throughout this tournament. Been an absolute pleasure to watch. So looking forward to seeing a little bit more of Minigun coming up after this. So unfortunately for Major, Minigun will take this series. Major still has an opportunity to try and make it through into the semi-finals. We'll see if he can make good on that. Certainly been playing phenomenal. That control on those early drops was just amazing. If it wasn't for Minigun's High Templar usage, certainly would have broken apart the Protoss defense. So great series. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did casting. If this is your first time on Aussie Starcraft, we hope you'll subscribe to the channel. We look forward to casting some more games for you in the future. This channel's all about community participation, so by all means let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd like to hear what you guys, our fans, have to say. And we've got some more fantastic MLG action coming up after this, so don't miss out guys. We'll catch you in the next cast. Thank you.